We're back, extra trashy time. I'm back here with iDom, and we're here to talk about the latest happenings in the FGC. Of course, we have the Marvel Tokon Beta and our first impressions with that, and also Goichi climbing the ranks here, man, becoming one of the best fighting game players of all time again for the 10 billionth time, proving that he's maybe, perhaps, the GOAT of the FGC, winning World Warrior Japan #1 with over 2,350 entrants, the largest ever singles bracket tournament online in the FGC. Let's get on into it. iDom, I know you were a little bit busy cooking up there in Tennessee, but it sounds like you had a good time playing that tournament and also playing some Marvel Tokon. How was your weekend?
Went to F2Con, had a fun time, got to play Tokon Beta. I had to use all the other PlayStations, but also I had to bring this very large trophy home. Oh my god.
Okay.
That was pretty nice. First place for Guilty Gear Strive, not Street Fighter, but got the nice little trophies for Strive. Got to add that to my collection. But yeah, fun little time. Got to play a lot of Tokon there, and I had a lot of fun playing Tokon. I was still messing around with Starlord and Iron Man, and I did also try Storm. Storm's actually moving up on my character that I was fairly interested with. I had a lot of like cool little neat setups with Storm's little ice ball assist, and those ice ball moves with her unique skill is actually kind of had my brain flowing.
Interesting. I also think it's interesting that a lot of people, it's going to be the first time they even know that you played another game besides Street Fighter.
Yeah. What is this Strive? What is this Strive? What is this Marvel Tokon? He's a Street Fighter player.
Yeah. Soft reveal for. It's so funny to me how so many people like assume you've only ever you were like born in a lab to play Laura in Street Fighter 5, even though you've been doing the thing in Guilty Gear Strive for quite some time. So congrats on your win there. And I like that you had multiple characters to talk about in Marvel Tokon, because this beta, it was around like 24 hours total of playtime across these 3 days. And I'm too old to like power through all that. I made an attempt to get up early. Like I was honey potted to staying up too late on the first night. It came out around midnight my time. And I was like, oh, I got to play at least a couple games. And then I was like, yeah, I'll definitely go to bed and wake up at 6 a.m. now and start grinding in the morning. And so I completely missed the morning session by a couple hours. I got into like the second half of it, of the second half of that way, but I overslept like crazy. I had bags under my eyes. I felt like crap. So I didn't get that much playtime overall, I feel like. And I'm a slow learner, so I only played Captain America, essentially. I did the meme.
Oh, okay.
People have been memeing about how this game is more like a 1v1 or 2v2 game up front, because it doesn't have a lot of direct built-in tag incentives to the mechanics. Like there's only one health bar, so you're not like actively tagging out to regen your health. So I took that to the extreme. I played only Captain America plus assist all weekend long, because I could barely even remember the moves. So I don't know if you got like super in depth with these characters, because I could barely like wrap my mind around how to string things together.
So I was kind of doing that when I was playing for like the first session. So like it was mainly kind of just like Starlord with Doom assist and Storm's assist, because I was like, this is really good. And then I was just kind of putting like one and one together, and I was still trying to figure out a bit how the tag system works and how to get everything kind of like stringing together. But the more I was playing, the more I was like, wow, you really do need to master the tag system. You can play one character, that is 1,000% fine, but when the tags start flowing and the mixes start coming with like the like fast tag or like the active switch, it starts getting pretty degenerate pretty quickly.
Okay, so you actually got to touch that layer of the game. I'm happy for you. I got to watch other people do that, and after the fact, I was like, oh, that's what the game's supposed to look like. Meanwhile, I'm like, AB, where's my C button? And then I'm getting auto comboed instantly. I can tell like where this will go, but I just needed more time in training mode, like to wrap my brain around it and get my hands primed. I think players who are really familiar with like DBFZ, for example, they'd feel right at home. I think the big first impression, and I think it is a correct impression, is that this is for sure DBFZ 2++, right? It's like if you played that 1v1 style, you're playing DBFZ. Do you think it felt that way to you?
It is, in my opinion, Dragon Ball with partial like semi-strive. I will say there's a bit of strive in there. And BB Tag. It's those three games put together.
What's the BB Tag influence? I never played BB Tag.
The act like the active switch in like a lot of the layer setups, it's just a lot of BB tag stuff, like, oh, switch here and then kind of just mix from there, or kind of like have one character doing their move while I switch and then I'm dancing on your head with the other character.
Right.
So that's kind of like the BB tag part.
Yeah, which was what I was mentioning before about like Marvel Infinite when we last talked about this, how I have concerns about active tag. It seems like it's exactly that mechanic. So I didn't use any of this myself, but from analyzing players who are much stronger than me at these games who can figure things out in a day, I'm so impressed with that ability. A lot of the flow for getting the actual grime going with using the full team together is you do your string with your character, force them into blocks on the opponent, and then you activate a special move or some kind of move with a decent amount of startup. Like, for example, like a normal example would be Starlord with his charged overhead, right? You string into the charged overhead, and before that activates, you then, or while that's going on, you have an assist that was going forward and keeping them in blocks, and while you're charging the overhead. And then the point where you actually swap characters is after the assist completes its active frames. You're tagged in, your assist is like standing there on screen, like, yeah, do you want to swap into me real quick? Like, I'm still here. I won't leave for a second. And then you swap into your assist as your original character is doing that charged overhead as Starlord, and then you hit them low when you active tag in. So you end up with these like hard to blockable or unblockable situations. Like, people found theoretically unblockable setups in one day.
Yeah, it's like a pseudo unblockable, like, but kind of like what you said, it goes back to Marvel Infinite, because that was kind of the thing. Like, if you had a low hitting special move, it was just kind of really strong. Or like, why not do that? I'm curious because I did not get too familiar with the defensive mechanics. Like, I will say, like, block obviously is a beta. It's still early. I'm not trying to block. I don't think anyone in that beta was trying to block either. But I'm curious how, if the defensive mechanics are, the crossover mechanics seem pretty good to get out of situations like that. So it's not going to be just looping unblockable. But I'm very curious to see how the game actually does pan out, or like, are the defensive mechanics strong enough to make sure that doesn't happen?
Yeah, I think the crossover is supposed to be that mechanic, because the way that works is to do any of these assist calls during combos and pressure strings, and to use the defensive mechanic of crossover, it takes an assist gauge. And the assist gauge, it depletes when you're on offense. If you're doing a string, you call your assist. It's no longer one of the assists that you would have if you're calling in neutral. You actually have a canned combo filler or pressure extender assist that is pretty much universal for all characters. They're pretty much all the same. There might be, I think there might be some discrepancy in like the active frames hitbox, but in general they have the same utility. Maybe there'll be some differences ironed out or figured out over time. But that assist will come out and it'll be like it ends your string. The assist comes out, you can extend your string, or you get a combo. You call the assist to extend the combo. It activates a tumble state for the opponent, and then you can pick up with whatever and continue the combo. So very like streamlined in that sense, but it costs a bar. The crossover mechanic also costs a bar of that same gauge. So if you end up in that situation where they force you to block, they win neutral, and then they're doing ABC, low, they call assist, low special move, assist finishes, and then they active tag and do an overhead while the low special move is occurring. That's that pseudo unblockable. You just crossover to stop that, and that costs a bar of your assemble gauge. But it's almost like a defensive move and a DI mechanic, because you can counter it. So I wonder if it's going to be that useful, because if you counter it, if you don't get the perfect timing, you spend another bar of your assemble gauge. There's only 3 of them, so it is a valuable resource. You won't get knocked down. It'll go back to neutral. If you crossover counter and they don't counter it, you knock them down and you can start approaching them. But if it goes back to neutral, it's like neutral. But if you get the perfect timing, you actually lock them out of using the assemble gauge entirely or calling any of their assist. So there is like a risk to using the mechanic at the same time, even though it costs resources to counter. So you need to, you definitely need to use the crossover to stop the unblockables, but there's also a risk to using it. So I think there's going to be a resource mini game going on there as well, because you might not want to risk getting you having your team disassembled. I'm curious how that'll pan out.
Yeah, that's kind of like one thing I really liked about it. Like the resource minigame is actually like one of the more fun things in fighting games. I feel like that's kind of the managing somebody else's resources is actually like super cool. But yeah, for those kind of things, also playing like the auto combos are obviously, I think the auto combos are really strong. I don't know how you felt about the auto combos. I was getting DBFZ flashbacks sometimes. So the auto combos are felt really strong for like newer players to kind of get into the game. The supers look nice. The game, like I said, always looks pretty. Starlord had some cool combos. I was doing like some grenade resets or like some ice restand resets that I was kind of really trying to keep like the mix going. And even who was I playing? Wasn't Starlord? I think it was
Iron Man, Miss Marvel,
it was
Captain America.
No, there was a fast fall mix up that I kept doing. I think it was with
Starlord has a fast fall mix up.
Yeah,
he's the mix guy right now.
Like, Starlord was like the fastball mix up, just everything. So to me, I was kind of playing Starlord with 1 assist, but even Storm's ice ball assist, that assist seemed kind of broken in my opinion.
I didn't see that one. What does that one do?
She throws that ice ball, but it freezes you, so you can just run up for a combo.
And that's one of the neutral assists. Is that like which direction does she
No,
have to be in?
That was her first assist. That was like the first assist she got. I think that was like the neutral one.
Oh, so not the combo filler one, but the forward assist.
Yeah.
The way the team structure works with the assist is like the order of your team does actually matter, because when you are in neutral and not actually actively pressing buttons and hitting the opponent, you don't get the combo filler assist. You get your neutral assists, which don't cost an assemble gauge. It just has a very short cooldown. The assists actually come back very fast from neutral. Yeah. There's a very short cooldown on them. But the point character or the second character you have, like they're on your forward and assist. Then there's down assist and back assist. Forward assist or neutral assist is like meant to be like your horizontal approach assist, like kind of like your beam in DBFZ, whatever. That's generally what it is. It kind of moves forward and lets you approach behind it to cover your approach. The down assist is usually like an anti-air or a vertically traveling assist, and the back assists are supposed to be more character specific. So I barely unlocked all my characters. I can't go into too much detail on the back assist, but it's supposed to be like your more unique per character type of loadout for that assist. So yeah, I never even saw anyone using the forward storm assist to get the freeze, but it seems like anything that will lock the opponent down and allow you to mix them up by avoiding the knockdown state is really strong, because there's no hard knockdowns except for like very special situations. So you're able to tech back in place, up, right, forward, tech right to roll out of the corner. So Starlord was one of those. Doing the freeze, you would end your combo into like the freeze gun, I think it was, and it would cause them to stay still. And it was better to go for these resets because combos were cut short by the combo degradation meter. I'm not sure what the meter was called.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was called, but yeah, that little meter on the like side of like, the red bar, like, hey, stop your combo.
Right. So it was better to cut your combo short and then go for that little extra damage and avoid the knockdown, because the knockdown you can't really cover all text without spending a meter or spending an assist, and it was hard to cover the text, right? So once players figured that out with Starlord, they were looping that mix as much as possible. I thought that was really creative. And the other thing is, did you get into the wall slump in the corners?
Yeah, I did see. I didn't do the wall slump personally, but I did see online that people were doing like wall slumps from like Strive. I didn't. I understood the theory behind it, because like in Strive you do it so you don't go back to neutral, you just mix off the wall. But in that game, you would still want your character, I feel like. So wouldn't you want to break the wall? I guess it's kind of like positive bonus versus not positive bonus. But you can't do it when it breaks the wall. It's only in the corner when you're all the way at the either end of the stage. So okay.
Because like there's no avoiding the wall break. The wall break happens pretty much with half your moves. It feels like, I don't know the exact rules, but most of your specials, your heavies, I think auto combos, supers, like almost anything you're going to go into in a combo ends up pushing them to the next stage transition. Because I think there's 3 stages. There's the middle, left, and right side. And so if you're in the middle, you're gonna break the wall. I'm doing air quotes here for the audio listeners, right? You're gonna transition to the other stage. But if you're on the leftmost stage and you hit the actual left corner, instead of having that happen, you'll actually get like a wall slump. Like they'll splat against the wall. Maybe call it a wall splat. And that allows you for like pickups without assist, for one. It lets you do better combos. So you can extend without assist in certain situations. But also, if you end up not using that to extend your combo, they'll just fall to the ground in place without a tech option. it effectively becomes a hard knockdown. So players started doing that, and then they would use that slump animation to start setting things up. Like Captain America would do the up and his unique skill to throw his shield up, which would start bouncing off the ceiling up and down, and then use that to then start doing like cross up, left right mix ups, high low mix, because that became your hard knockdown. And so I was like, dude, these guys are so creative. Like, I'm so dumb when it comes to tag games. Like, their brains are so fast. Like, all these high level tag players. I was so impressed. I was like, why didn't I think of that? I was so pissed when the beta closed. So there's a lot of grime that started to develop with the hard knockdowns, because I felt like it was pretty hard to keep pressure going without that hard knockdown. Like, how did you feel about the structure? Like, if you got a hit and you got the regular knockdown, people could tech either way.
I always felt like restanding was always kind of like the strongest thing to do. Even in like Dragon Ball, like Majin Buu was really strong because he could restand you every time. So restanding to me felt like just like the strongest thing to do. But I always felt like break the wall first, get your character, because you want your good assist. I felt like Doom had a good anchor assist. Like you said, you never played the fourth assist, but Doom had like, I don't want to say hidden missiles, it's hidden laser, because that laser covers a lot of ground, and then you can kind of just do whatever you want. So yeah, I wanted to get the last character, but at the same time, I didn't see myself doing combos a lot of the time. Oh wait, not doing combos, but going for the ice restand a lot of the time with just Starlord, just kind of to reset. And like Starlord and Storm had like really good restands just in general, so I never went for a knockdown. It's just restand most of the time.
Right, that makes sense. I think in the beginning, it also makes sense to assemble your team, right? That's kind of the whole unique aspect of the game that really starts differentiating it from anything else. This 4v4 concept where you want to build your team, because as you build your team, you're not only getting more assists to play with to extend your combos and also have more neutral assists to enhance your neutral, but you're also getting more meter, right? You get more of the assemble gauge. For every team member you have, you get another assemble gauge, which lets you access the things like the defensive mechanics in the game. And then also your offensive mechanics, right? Using more tags in a combo. And I think it also increases your life. Like, your life starts going up. And I think your total super meter also increases as well as you add more characters to the game, which gives you more access to using your super moves and your EX moves as well. So you're really incentivized to do that. And I didn't iron out all the rules for when you get a character. It's like, do an auto combo, you get a character. Break the wall, you get a character. Do a super, you get a. It's like almost any route you go down, I felt like you would get a character. So I think passively, without thinking about the mechanics, you'll build your team for the most part. But I don't think we've cracked the code for optimizing that. At least I haven't. I don't know the meta for optimizing it. I don't know if you saw like a path, like what's the best strategy to build the team to start cooking.
I couldn't really think of anything. For me, it was just like, get a throw and, break the wall and get the character. That to me felt like the easiest, most effective way to do it. But at the same time, I'm kind of with you. I don't really know. Maybe if you just lose the rounds, you get more character. That might be. Maybe you throw the first 2 rounds and then just win with the rest of your team. Yeah, because
you also got the character for getting beat up in certain situations, right? Yeah. So I honestly was not even, like I said, I always like, which button is what? Like that was where my mind was the whole time. So it was very hard for me to like consciously think about those things. And I would often break the wall in accident, because I'd be doing like my light, medium, heavy, and then special move, and then I'd call my assist to continue the combo, and then the wall would break, and I spent my assist gauge. And I'm like, okay, well, that was a waste. Like, I didn't realize that was about to happen. So there's a lot of nuance there that is yet to be ironed out. But did you play against any Miss Marvel? Because I do think Starlord had the most mix going on, but Miss Marvel seemed to be the one dominating the all night tournaments.
I did see Diaphone win with Miss Marvel, but I did not play any Miss Marvel, actually. I did not touch that character at all, and I never really ran into Miss Marvel like that at all when I was playing online either, so I still am completely in the dark about what that character is doing.
She has like a combination to me of like Super Scroll and Spencer influence, because her command dash is the skill. She doesn't have she doesn't have a normal command dash or an air dash of like the typical use a dash macro to dash around in the air. You have to use her unique skill to grab the other side of the screen and move forward, and that can actually interact and grab the opponent and start offense. So I felt like that was a pretty unique take, the Spencer sort of zip line that he had, and that seemed really good. People were moving across the screen and getting pickups from all over, and it made me also consider, I feel like potentially the crossover counters are unique per character, because one thing Diaphone was doing that I thought was really interesting is he would use like the crossover, like the alpha counter move defensively, and then immediately forward skill, unique skill with Miss Marvel to grab and pull him all the way to the other side of the screen. And it was pretty much like a meaty. And if they tried to jump away from that, like up tech or jump away, he would get a 2H when they jumped. So he would use a defensive mechanic and then immediately get in there and then immediately start his offense. Whereas when I used it with Captain America, it felt like they could always just float up in the air. And I was not in like an advantageous position. Like they were kind of like at a perfect angle to fall down or up tech and then fall down with an approach. So I think there might be a difference with how these mechanics are actually implemented. Like I don't know if it's fully universal, and then the Oki situations are going to vary. So that seemed really strong to me. Like that the fact that a defensive mechanic led into immediate offense seemed really good. So that to me was a big strength of her. And her overhead was like instantaneous. Seems like that's a common threat, was these fast overhead EX moves.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing Cap, I got hit by Cap's overhead every time. The little shield, the little char shield. Yeah, I couldn't block that up for my life. But yeah, I didn't really play against Miss Marvel too much. I correct me if I'm wrong. She does have a command grab too, so like you might actually just get like scooped up or mixed a lot of the time when playing against her. So I don't know. I'm glad I avoided all the Miss Marvel. I was just trying to play like the Marvel 3 characters and just try to air dash, because Iron Man was actually another personal favorite, because Iron Man was schmoovin' in the beta too, and he had like a lot of unique like moves that he didn't usually have. The little hand lasers, the handguns, I guess he had, was like really good for zoning. That was also another thing I wanted to bring up. I felt like you could actually run away and zone in this game, because Iron Man was actually kind of hard to catch sometimes.
Yeah, dude, I got for hours of my play session, I ran into someone who was clearly a strong DBFZ player going by the tag of Hulk, and he was just beating the crap out of me with Iron Man for hours. And I'm like, dude, you're picking up every stray hit into full like jump conversions and getting everything into the full Oki knockdown. And then when I finally got away from his mix and pressure, he would zone me out with Iron Man and do the little hand lasers into the beam, and that would confirm to super from full screen into the DHCs as well. And I was like, dude, I'm straight up getting zoned right now. So Iron Man definitely had that potential as well. And they do have some mechanics to stop that. So the other defensive mechanics that I don't think were utilized that much, I'm forgetting the name of them, but it's when you're not in block stun. So like on wake up or in gaps and strings, the crossover is for when you're in block stun. This mechanic, there is the neutral one, which was an overhead, like an armored overhead move. And then there was another one where you can do like a counter where you go hold back and it'll actually activate a counter. But if they don't engage with it, you kind of do a back sway and they can just chase you down and get a full punish. But they also had an air version where it was almost like a super dash where you press light and assist in the air. And whenever you use any of these mechanics with the assemble gauge, it has this orange after effect glow as you travel. So you know someone used it. So that should be your answer. Not quite a super dash. It didn't like 360 around the screen and cross them up and track them down out of nowhere. But if they're like spamming projectiles and you air reset or something, you could use that to get in and punish them. So it seems they thought about that a little bit, but I never managed to land it. It was kind of a little awkward. It didn't travel that far. So I wasn't sure the use case for that like air dash option. I don't know if you managed to land it or see it at all.
No, not really. To me, also kind of just like, I feel like you have movement. Like it's different now. It's hard to get zoned. You have movement, and like unless the character's like Morgan or something in Marvel 3, if you have movement in a game, I feel like it could obviously be bad because you could just get zoned if you don't have good movement. But if you have good movement, you could easily kind of like traverse the screen and get around a lot of like projectile zoney thing. But like I don't know, Iron Man felt. To me, I don't know about you, Iron Man and Starlord were the two characters I felt at home with when I was playing the most.
Well, I only played Captain America.
Oh yeah, you only played.
I wanted to get into Iron Man.
Captain.
That was my next target. He seemed really cool, and he has the actual he has an actual 8-way air dash, and he has a flight mode as well. And Storm, I think Storm did Starlord have a flight mode? I think a lot of the characters had a flight mode where like you jump and then you hold the jump button and you can actually fly around for a bit. They seem a little limited though.
I don't like the flight, like the move to activate flight. Like maybe Marvel player in me, I'd rather have quarter circle back button or something. Yeah. But I hate the new fly.
So is it just activating it or any other properties with it? Because it kind of has a weird delay, right?
Just activate. Just activating it. It's very awkward. I'd rather just have it tied to a motion or something.
Because it was tied to jump, right? So you couldn't just do it off the ground, and you can't really cancel into it, can you? I guess. Could you do button into jump cancel into flight?
I'm sure you can. I didn't try it personally. I'm sure you could. I wouldn't see why you wouldn't be able to do it, but it's still like just awkward. And I was finding myself getting flight by accident sometimes as well. So
I see.
I'd rather be like quarter circle back somewhere.
I see. Well, how about this? I heard some, I really enjoyed the beta. I want to spend a lot more time with it.
Me too.
But there were some people, of course, people have differing opinions. There were some people who looked at this beta, took part of it, and felt that it was rather restrictive in a lot of ways. And I can see where they're coming from, actually. I do feel like it was a little strange, the tagging system, how that operates, because you have not the tag, I should say, the assist system. You have the combo filler and pressure filler extension assist, which costs the assemble gauge. Then you have all these unique assists that you can only be done through neutral. But what is neutral versus not, right? And I think the rule is if you make contact with the opponent, then you get the combo filler assist. But I can see that being a little like restrictive because you don't have access to your set of assists while you're about to or currently making contact with the opponent. So I don't know. Do you feel like that's a little weird as a Marvel enthusiast? Some people felt like that whole assist system was a little strange in that sense.
I can see where they're coming from. I understand the main complaint with it. Like there is no are you a neutral or not kind of thing. Like that's kind of that's an argument in a lot of fighting games. Like what is neutral? What are we even doing? What is neutral? So I do understand that, but I do think maybe they just did it to kind of play it safe kind of thing, make the game feel a bit more safer for a newcomer.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason for it, right? Because I think maybe experienced tag players will be like, this is a little boring because it streamlines the combo structure, right? There's a very basic ABC launcher, ABC, down heavy, like down C, knock him down, call assist. It causes a tumble state, pick up again, went to launcher, ABC, down heavy, knock him down, call assist, and loop that for all your assist gauge, and then end with a special move or like a heavy into super or something at the wall, right? Yeah. And that it's completely streamlined for everybody in that sense, except for maybe Doom. I think there is still some unique strings. Doom was like kind of the oddball character, but in general, it was very streamlined with that, and that is in no small part due to the fact that the assists are canned when you're in the combo state or when you're pressuring them, instead of having like Doom activating the 10-second startup hidden laser beam, right? You know what I mean? Instead of doing that, and then you have to juggle them or properly stagger your string and manage the height in order to pick up the assist, he does a basic combo filler assist just like everybody else during that moment. So for me, that made it really easy to at least get a hit and do a combo. But in the long term, does that sacrifice any depth potentially? Like, I think some people were already feeling a little like, I kind of wish I had access to my unique assists while I'm doing these other things to get the creative juices flowing.
I feel like that's kind of the other thing. Like, for the newer player, it's going to be like, okay, Doom was here. Doom had this one assist, but now Doom got moved to the 4th spot, but now I have a hidden laser. So now I need combos for when Doom is here, and I need combos for when Doom is here, and then I'm going to need combos for when Doom is here too. So it's like, I have 3 different versions of BMB that I also have to think that I have Starlord, oh wait, maybe I'm not playing Starlord. Now I have Captain America. Now I need Captain America combos with with laser beam instead of, you know, Doom's gun assist. And then it's like, okay, this is like 50 billion combos I have to know for a newer player. So I get it. I get it. I do not envy all this stuff because I do want fighting games to be a safer place for newer player, but that seems like a lot of studying, a lot of like awareness, and that might be like, oh, that's too hard. I'm gonna go play Fortnite.
That's a great point. I didn't consider that with the way they've done this assist loadout, where you don't pick your assist; it's based on where they are in your team rotation. Yeah, that's confusing because in all the other games you pick your assist. In Marvel, you pick your assist from the get-go. That's all you have access to. And your team order would impact your DHC routes, which was very important. But it wasn't like you have to remember which order your team is in, and because you got a whole different assist. That's a lot of complexity. So that does make sense. I think for them to resolve that mechanic of, we want this concept of the team order to impact what type of assist you have. It kind of makes sense then, wait a minute, we need to streamline the combo and pressure system. Or maybe that was, I don't know what came first. Maybe it was the opposite. Maybe to add complexity and depth because they wanted to streamline the assist system and the combos and pressure, maybe they created this system of, hey, your character order decides what assists you have access to in neutral. It seems related for sure. That's a really good point because, yeah, if my team order got messed up, and I had to figure out what assist I had at what time during the combo, I never would have done a combo. I barely did a combo as is in that beta. If I called my Iron Man assist and he didn't do that generic tackle to let me pick up, it was over for me. You know, if he starts like shooting out some missiles and it floats around, I'm like, dude, man, it's over. Like, I finally got a hit. Can't do a combo.
Iron Man's fourth assist had like the air raid, the Sentinel assist where he like came in and like dropped missiles. Like, that assist was really good too, but that was his last assist. Like an air raid assist? You
had a whole different experience than I did, iDom. I was either getting beat up and looped, or I'm doing ABC, my one assist, ABC, my two assists. I barely use neutral assist at all. I think that's probably my problem. I was wondering why my neutral is so ass. I think it's because I never knew when to call assists in neutral.
That's not the Marvel player. When I was thinking, I was like, oh, he called an assist. Now it's time for me to call my assist because he can't call an assist right now. That's the Marvel brain in me thinking.
See, this is what I'm missing. I have zero tag fundamentals. I mean, I had a little bit of DBFZ for a while, so I understood like a little bit of the pickups and stuff like that. But I was like, why am I losing neutral constantly? And I think it might have been because I'm Captain America jumping around with zero assist coverage. Okay, this is what I got to work on. That's why I want the training mode, man.
One other thing that I also did notice, and I don't know if I saw people bringing this up on Twitter a lot. I don't know if this is DBFZ protection. You can't whip a button and call an assist. Now in Marvel, that's normal. You could do that anytime. But in Dragon Ball, Android 17 had a broken assist where if you whiffed the button, you would call the barrier and protect you, and then you get a full combo. And then it was like, I was getting combos for whiffing move. So I don't know if they're trying to protect that from happening again or what, but that was kind of like one thing. I was like, the Marvel player was like, why can't I do this? And the Dragon Ball is like, you don't want this.
True. Okay, that makes sense too. And I think that also helps streamline the ambiguity of the two assists, right? Because like we were talking about before, when do you get the filler pressure combo assist versus the neutral assist, right? Like, what if you meant to hit them and get the pressure assist, but then you whiffed? You just barely misplaced your M, and then you got your slow ass neutral assist instead, and then you get happy birthday. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of think that it's the best to lead to less ambiguity with the fact that you don't have full control of what assist comes out at what time. Like, that's to make it feel like, okay, like I am for sure getting my combo assist at the right time and for sure getting my neutral assist at the right time. So yeah, weird system. Like, it's a creative idea, but you could argue that those are restrictions, right? Like, it kind of guides you to play the game in a certain way.
I like what they're trying to do, and like I don't envy people making fighting games. Making fighting games is way too hard. But I do like what I like a lot of the ideas, and I like kind of what they're going for with a lot of the system mechanics, even with just like the crossover. Like a lot of it is to protect new players or people getting unblockable. Actually, quick little story. I watched Nen Impact for the first time at F2Con because I was waiting for my Street Fighter pool. That game looked so jank, and I'm glad I never played it. And a lot of the issues I saw, because like I have no playtime. It was like a fish super that just came out, and you were just getting unblockable because you would active tag, and then the other guy's dancing on your head while the fish super is going on. I was like, this is what people don't want. And I was like, this looks so bad. But yeah, I think that's kind of what they're trying to do, to just try to avoid a lot of that stuff from kind of happening in like Marvel Tokon.
Right. Yeah, that's why whenever, we're in like a tag game renaissance right now, and with all these different titles coming out for tag fighters, and I feel like they're the hardest to make work in a esports friendly sense, because so many of the best tag fighters of all time have either been free-for-all happy accidents, which is like the Marvel series, or they've been designed very intentionally. And I'm looking at like DBFZ, right? Like DBFZ has a very intentional design philosophy behind it, and it shows. Like, you could argue from a Marvel player perspective, like, this game feels a little limited compared to the movement is great. Like, there's definitely elements of freedom to it that are not present in other titles, but in terms of like traditional tag mechanics, it's a little streamlined. And like, you call your assists at these certain times it comes out. You're not going to be, they had snapback meta for a while, but they're like, let's tone that down, let's add some cross-up protection. They started to kind of negate the traditional degenerate strategies that develop for tag fighters, which is part of the fun but also part of the curse. Because if you don't manage that well, if you're trying to make this a title that people play for a long time, you either have to capture lightning in a bottle with like Marvel 2 and 3, or you gotta be like really careful about what you're crafting. So I think this game is definitely going down the more careful strategy, which for some players they're not big fans of. They get bored, and I envy them. Like, I hope to one day achieve that level of enlightenment with tag fighters to get bored, because I'm not there yet. And I guess that would be like what a player looking more for 2XKO would want, because 2XKO, the beta is about to come out, and I think 2XKO offers a lot more freedom in that sense. But funny enough, even you mentioned, right? Didn't 2XKO nerf just recently that same unblockable strategy that we saw in Marvel Tokon?
Apparently they reverted it back, because I saw like a list of patch notes that were supposed to go with the game that's supposed to come out tomorrow. But they reverted it back, so they were like, haha, idiots, welcome back to handshake and getting mixed up, stupid. So I don't know what they're doing.
2XKO definitely wants, it's an FGC led team, and they want to lean into as much of that freedom as possible and have that depth, while also trying to keep it free to play,
casual friendly.
They're towing a really tough line. I would love, like, I got to address, I don't know if you saw iDom, people were a little pissed off at us, me specifically, for that last 2XKO segment.
I saw it. It's like, it felt good to be on the opposite side, because I get attacked for a lot of my SF6 and now you were getting attacked for the 2XKO takes. I was like, this is what it feels like.
My point with that was not to rag on 2XKO. My point was to report with my impartial reporting, my unbiased reporting, as always, on development in the community. But I just for people who only listen to podcasts, I actually really want 2XKO to succeed, and I'm going to be playing the beta coming up after this. I feel like they have a really hard job, though, right? Like, I'm very curious how this will develop, but I do think it offers a lot more flexibility in the actual mechanics and the systems compared to a game like Marvel Tokon. Absolutely. So if you're someone who is looking at Marvel Tokon and feeling it's a little restrictive, 2XKO is probably going to be more your flavor of tag fighter. But speaking of, that's coming out. We didn't even talk about that. Do you have any plans for playing the beta? I'm going to be hopping on playing for the time being.
I mean, I'm going to be playing Obviously, like I said, I enjoyed playing Alawi and Ari in the beginning, so I'm curious who the last character is. I definitely want to try Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank looks sick, but I want to see who the last character is. I'm assuming it's going to be a League fan favorite like Lux, and I know you don't know who Lux is. But
why call me out here, Adam? I'm gonna sit here and nod and smile. You don't gotta call me out.
But I'm assuming the character's going to be a fan favorite like Lux, so maybe Lux will be Joan tomorrow or whoever. But yeah, I'm curious. I want to try it. I'm curious what the tournament standard is going to be. I hope it's the actual 2-on-2 and not, one guy playing by himself, because I think 2-on-2 tournaments would be very sick and very different.
Do you think you think we could potentially go down like the Smash route of having singles and 2v2 cross Tekken? What the
yeah, cross Tekken.
Cross Tekken. Cross Tekken. How many tournaments for cross Tekken did they actually run 2v2 and singles? It was 2v2 in the beginning.
Infiltration and Laugh, I think, won the last Evo that was tag, and I think that was the last one they had. I want to say it was 2012 or 2013, but they are Evo champions in duo, and I think they played Combo Fiend and Mike Ross.
Yeah, grand finals.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That's the last time I think we had either Combo Fiend or Mike Ross in an Evo grand finals. It was really like the end of a generation there with that one. But yeah, I don't think they ever. The 2v2 for Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Evo felt a little forced, if I'm going to be honest. I think that was the new system and they wanted to make it happen, but he immediately went to singles after that, and then the game unceremoniously died very soon after. That game had a tragic life. It just never really took off the ground with the whole DLC on disc controversy, gems, timeouts. There's a lot of problems that plagued that game and its lifespan. But in the Smash community, they do singles and duos, doubles they call it, at all their events. But they're Smash only events, so they have the capacity to do that, right? They're not running a ton of different variety of games at one tournament and a bunch of side tournaments. No, it's like you have the Smash titles only, and then you have the singles and the doubles, right? So it makes sense logistically for them to support it. Do you think we'll have a world where we end up having both singles and doubles for brackets at major fighting game tournaments?
It depends. I don't know how big 2XKO is going to be. If like Riot hosts their own events, obviously they could, like, if there's a League of Legends Worlds going on and like to open it is a 2XKO tournament, then yeah, sure, I could definitely see that kind of stuff happening. But if it's a FGC event and 2XKO gotta run singles and double, but also Tekken gotta happen and Grand Blue gotta happen, then I don't think you'll logistically have enough time.
You think it'll be relegated to community side tournaments? I think they'll have it.
The duos tournament, well, I think it'll probably be more side tournament.
So which one do you think will be the main? Singles, right?
It's gotta be singles. I
think culturally we're not ready for 2v2 to be the main thing.
I think duos is a cool idea, and I think duos will probably get a decent amount of people into the game, to be honest, if they have a friend teaching them.
For sure. I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about. And just to touch on your point about the tournaments, just to be clear, I do think, the dev team is a ton of folks from the FGC, right? This is an FGC-led team. So they're they've been vocal about like integrating with the community, not like pulling these out to only their own events. So I think the plan is to have 2XKO run at like a CEO Common Breaker Evo. Like that's kind of the vision right now. There hasn't been any discussion of like, hey, let's pluck this out of this and put it into its own pro tour and its own separate events. So for now, it's mostly focused on community events.
But Riot does their own events, so like it's a Riot game. It's gotta be there. It's still a Riot game.
Maybe they'll add it on there, but I guess what I'm saying is it's not the only avenue they're looking at. For sure, there's been a lot of discussion about like bringing this to community run events. So there'll be some discretion for the community to decide what they want to run, right? But yeah, maybe at Riot events they'll have more flexibility or more focus on doing something like that. But I do agree. My most anticipated feature for 2XKO is the 2v2 with the what is it called? That's not the backpack fuse. That's what I'm calling it. It's
I call it the
What is the name of it? I'm forgetting the name.
I don't remember the name, but I always called it the backpack fuse, or I've been calling it the e-girl fuse. That's what I call it.
Oh, got it. I got it. It's a Sidekick fuse. All right, the fuse is called the Sidekick fuse. We couldn't remember the name for a second there, but in the Sidekick fuse, the assist cannot be KO'd or tagged to and has unique tools to help out the point. Great pick if your duo is new to the game, since it allows them to impact gameplay without having to actually carry. So literally, you're the sidekick. You're in the backpack being carried, and you can't die, and all you do is really call the assist. And there might be some other subtle mechanics there that the fuse description is hinting at. But that's what I'm excited for. So iDom, are you gonna carry? You gonna put me in the backpack and carry me?
You're gonna have to be a good assist character. You're not even gonna have an option. I just need the best assist, because Ari had, when I was playing, I got my brother to play with me, but I told him just to pick Ari so he could do the best assist for me, and I just played him. I was like, yo, pick the assist.
I'm picking Braun no matter what. I'm sorry, and you're gonna have to carry no matter what. But I think that's a great mechanic. I think that is like ripe for community engagement, like getting your friends into it, and also even like content. Like I'm already like predicting that, because you know I'm kind of ass at these games. I do want to get better, but I think that's funny. I think that'd be super funny to hop on a stream and just pick the Sidekick fuse and just like, you know, make your time difficult while I'm just calling bullshit assists, right? So I think that's a really good idea, and you could even get other content creators. Like that's a really smart mechanic, because I don't think that's a competitively viable fuse. It's not like you're not going to win Evo 2v2 with someone doing a Sidekick fuse unless they do something to make it broken. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know how good Sidekick fuse might be. That might be the first Evo somebody wins where they don't even have to play the game.
Yo, that'd be so funny. And some fucking random E-celeb ends up doing the Sidekick fuse and just gets carried all the way. Sonic Fox plus, I don't know, some streamer just gets carried. That'd be so sick. So yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, to me, that's the most anticipated mechanic. Like, I like the fact that 2XKO has that type of unique perspective with it, because every other fighting game is so hardcore, and I think this game is actually really intimidating in that sense. It's supposed to be the free-to-play, more friendly game, but I feel like, yeah, compared to like a Marvel Tokon, it is harder for sure. It's a more difficult game. So like I said before, they're trying to toe that line, real expressive depth and a lot to chew on for the hardcore player base, but also having these more fun loadouts and mechanics to ease people into the game. So I'm curious if this will like really succeed. I want it to. I'm gonna be checking it out. I don't know if you have any final thoughts on 2XKO.
I mean, I hope the game does well. I'm assuming the game's gonna do well, because they had a lot of, you know, excellent FGC mind, you know, working on the game, and it sucks seeing fighting games die, like DNF Duel. But
it's always DNF Duel.
it sucks seeing fighting games do bad, and like you want every fighting game to do good. So I hope 2SKO has a good launch, and a lot of people play it, because I had fun playing it.
Yeah. Well, it's I guess it's getting used to this different paradigm, because I guess it is kind of launching, right? Like I don't feel like it's releasing right now, and it's still a limited audience, and they will be adding waves. I think the idea is they keep adding waves of people to the beta to like keep building up the player base over time before it becomes officially released. But do we consider this like a release almost? Is that what we're supposed to think of it as?
To me, it's like a season 0. So like a lot of games do season 0 and they're like, oh, it's early access, or this isn't the full game, but it's the full game. Like it's kind of an excuse to be like, oh, this might be messed up, but haha, it's not the full game yet, so we could fix it. Versus if this was the full game and this is broken, wait a minute, this game's terrible. Refund. Well, you can't even refund to SKO actually.
Yeah,
but
can't.
You would probably just uninstall it. Like, oh, this is the full game. This is what they're doing. Nah, I'm not playing this. So I think it's kind of season 0s are just kind of safe. Like Valorant did a season 0. Rivals did a season 0. It's a safe thing to do nowadays.
I see. So they're taking the standard playbook for the free-to-play game here. So yeah, we'll be hopping on it. I'll be getting my ass beat for a while. Hopefully, iDom, you'll carry me a little bit with the Sidekick fuse. And yeah, really big time in the FGC for tag fighters. I'm really hoping to get some training with time in Marvel Tokon soon. I need redemption from that beta. I was getting beat up too much. I need to do
I
a
don't
full
know
combo.
when. I don't know when the next Tokon beta is going to be. I was so surprised we got this beta now because I still feel like that game's not coming out till like next year, October or November.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I think from the communication I recall, it's expected to be a while.
Yeah.
But I think they're doing it right, man. I think that was the main critique I had, and a lot of the community had with 2xKO is there's a fine line to toe with transparency and communication. And I think 2xKO was too transparent up front, and that led to definitely some people getting turned off from the game because they basically got off the hype train. But I do see a path forward for 2xKO as a slow burn, momentum building product. I think that's the angle they're going for. I just hope it continues to build that momentum over time, right? Because I think our initial interpretation or our initial vision for this game was it was going to be just like a bomb dropped on the FGC, like boom, 2xKO is here. We're all fucking esports. We're all going to be millionaires playing for Riot full time. You know what I mean? Like, that was kind of the vision at the time this was announced, and that's clearly not what it's becoming. So I think it's going to be more of a slow burn trying to build audience over time. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it pulls it off. It's a completely different type of product release, backing, developer, like everything about it is so foreign to the FGC that I'm just curious how this experiment's going to pan out. That's my biggest thing. And then the game, I hope it's good. I'm looking forward to some exciting moments. Another tag fighter in the spotlight. Hopefully a lot of crossover from different communities. Kind of like a DBFZ era. I think those are super exciting. Even if I don't partake heavily in competing in it, I love watching those types of games and seeing all the crossover talent. It's always a really exciting time in the FGC. So 2xKO, it's going to be fun. That said, back to Street Fighter, I do want to touch on Goichi and the Japan World Warrior #1 before we wrap this show up. We were hyping up this tournament because it was the largest ever online tournament for the FGC. 2,357 entrants for the final number, which is more than the biggest Evo for Street Fighter 4 back in 2015, which had 2,000 entrants. So massive tournament. And in the end, the champion was Goichi with his Chun-Li. And funny enough, a lot of people were talking about Chun-Li being kind of whack. I saw some buzz about Chun-Li being a bad character right before this tournament concluded. And Japan always rated Chun-Li pretty high. And I think a big part of that is due to this guy right here, Goichi. But what a run from him, dude. He's been on such a tear lately.
He played probably like the most perfect Street Fighter 6 you could play with Chun-Li, I would like to say. But he also, one thing I think Goichi's really good at is like he doesn't want to engage unless he's at an advantage. Like he'll like throw a lot of fireballs because Chun's fireball is obviously really good, but then it's still, I'm going to pick my spots, going to walk up jab because Chun-Li's jab is a sword for some reason, and engage with low forward drive rush, and just take my chance. If I get offense started, great. If not, back up, back to neutral, go more fireball. Same thing, like rinse and repeat. And it's like a very non-committable way to play, which probably leads to a lot of it, Koichi's consistency.
Yeah, and I think it's also like a meter battery, right? Like he always is managing his drive gauge. And Chun-Li's really good at that because, like you mentioned, her fireball, it's so good for stalling because the way that fireball controls the screen, the recovery is super fast. It's slower on startup, but like you're going to get anti-aired. Like if you jump at it, you're for sure getting anti-aired. You can take this space, like she backs up and puts herself into the corner. So that's really like your only recourse, I feel like, against that fireball. It's a very difficult fireball to punish with traditional anti-fireball moves unless you have like a really far forward moving invincible super. Like you're not going to really effectively, for a lot of characters, do like an anti-fireball move against it. I feel like with the way it the slow startup and fast recovery operates, generally those types of fireballs are hard to get around. So yeah, I agree that he's kind of like cracked the code a little bit, and that's what we've been seeing. I think in season 3 is a lot of the highest tier of players are starting to pull away. They're starting to crack that code of having like the ultimate consistency, which was the big talking point and criticism of Street Fighter 6 leading up to this moment, it's still a little bit of chaos right below that. Right?
Yeah.
Like second to top 64 is like, dude, you never know, especially this tournament. Right? Like, if we look at the results, I do want to touch on Dogura got second at this with Elena.
That to me is the crazy. That's more crazy. Second with Elena, and everyone says Elena's, so bad. Elena's trash, bottom 5. So second with Elena is crazy. I did hear you did play a bit of Bison, but yeah, it was primarily Elena, and second with Elena is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I think he played Bison for Goichi, but the rest of it was Elena. So even in the top 8, he lost to Yanai with the Elena pick against his Bison, and then through losers he played Elena, and then against Goichi he tried the Elena, it didn't work out, then he switched to Bison, got a game, and then lost. So it was like primarily all Elena until the very end he tried a Bison. That's crazy, man. People mostly wrote this character off, and I felt that way too, right? I played her for a while on release, and it felt like she wasn't built for the current meta. Oftentimes we see with DLC characters, we feel like we're getting a preview into the direction of the game to come, and both Elena and Sagat have this direction where it's like they don't have meterless throw loops. You have to drive rush to throw loop, and they don't have low forward drive rush, right? They feel like they reset to neutral a little bit more often than a lot of characters, and then have other unique mechanics to keep their offense going. Elena has the roll, and then Sagat has his Tiger Knee. That's kind of like his whole structure, right? So I felt Elena was really awkward. I think she had strengths. I think her crouching medium punch, like, to compensate what they're doing with these characters, they give them amazing crouching medium punch drive rushes. That's been the compensation. Both Sagat and Elena have that far range crouching medium punch drive rush cancel, which can true string on a drive rush into another medium, where normally you can't go into a medium button on block from a low forward drive rush. There would be a gap there. These characters have that. So that seems to be like the design philosophy with both of them. And most people wrote the character off. And I respect Dogura, man. I kind of wrote Dogura off. I'm not gonna lie, man. I haven't seen him cook in a while. With not just Elena, but Dogura, right? Like, have you seen Dogura in a tournament this big in a grand finals position since Street Fighter 6? He's had some good results here and there, but this is huge.
He was close to qualifying for EWC, if I remember. I think like 13th or 9th or something. But he was fairly close during EWC. But I also think, I mean, I don't want to say he had one of those days, but I mean, he's grinding Elena, so I don't even know what to really say about that. Maybe he learned something in the past 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's been on the come up. I do agree that you bring up a good point with him getting close to qualifying through the LCQ, right, at EWC. He had a really deep run, and he just had to crack that top 8, and he got really close to making it in there. And he also went to, I believe it was CEO before that, and he didn't have the greatest run there from what I recall, but he was showing up, right? So CEO, he got top 64. Evo, he got top 48. LCQ for EWC, he got top 16, and now he got second. So he's consistently fighting with his Elena, and it's been like a slow come up, and it's working now, which is really interesting to see, because he hasn't been dominating in Street Fighter 6 for a guy like Dogura, who's been a world-class champion across multiple titles for forever now, an OG in the scene. It's cool to see him kind of find a character he's clicking with and doing something unique to get this far.
Yeah, I want to also point out that with that top 8, there were no Mais in that top 8. There were no Mais. No Akumas either.
Yeah, interesting cast of characters.
Yeah, so kind of going back, like, everyone's complaining about Mai and Akuma. I'm big word, but
me too, man.
But
me too, man.
But
who's not?
But I mean, I'm complaining about Mai and Akuma too. What do I even say? But
Big Bird was M Bison.
I mean,
hold on. I got to correct you right there. Big Bird was M Bison, and this top 8 had 1 and a quarter M Bisons. Okay, there was M Bison, and also all the Mais were in top 32. They all lost before top 8.
Yeah, the character's not unbeatable. She's annoying, but she's not unbeatable. But I will also say, it's just there's no bad character in this game, in my opinion, except for like Lily. There really isn't.
And Lily is not even.
There's no bad character.
Lily is bad, but I also think Lily's just badly designed. Like, even if she was good, she'd be bad.
Me too.
I agree. It's a universal mechanic game for the most part, and it's very closely tied in power levels. I do still think that, you know, Mai to me is still the best character. I still think there's characters that are a cut above, but we've seen these level of surprise results happen here and there. It shouldn't be surprising to be surprised, right? I guess is what you should really take away from this.
Tachikawa was in that top 8 with Manon also. Tachikawa's been doing amazing with Manon in these past couple of tournaments as well.
Are you feeling inspired, iDom? What's going on here? Tachikawa's still in your thunder a little bit. What's going on?
I mean, he's playing good. I would have won F2 Con if they had the swimsuit outfits on the console. I'm just saying.
That's the problem.
That was actually.
I mean, all Manon players would be nerfed, but I think Tachikawa would have struggled too, right?
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's just how tournaments work.
It's anti-Manon bias right there. We got to get that resolved in the FGC. But I just want to touch on the full top 8 here. Kobayan with his Zangief in 7th, and Haitani, the streamer, retired pro player, streamer, team owner, or I don't know if he's the owner of Team Reject or like a big like manager of that, but you know, he's moved into the community role where he's not technically a pro player and he's more of a content creator streamer, but he's still there in top 8 with Chun-Li, by the way. 2 Chun-Lis in that top 8. She's pretty good.
He's one of the 5 gods, and Chun-Li is pretty good. I did see, I wanted to bring this up too, because I did see Safe talking about how Goichi and Xiaohai are also doing really well in, you know, Street Fighter 6 and Fatal Fury. But I think one thing that is funny to see, they're both playing characters, I feel like, that are not really interacting with the game across both games, and these are both very high damaging games as well. Like, Mai's not really interacting with you. Like, Mai's probably the closest character that's interacting with you across all the 4 characters that they pick in both games. Chun's just, you know, fireball, low forward drive rush, kind of like, stay away from me. I don't want to eat 60% combo. And, you know, Kine and Billy are just, you know, stay away from me.
Right.
So the best thing to do is not engage with the game a lot of the time, if you think about it.
Well, it's more of like engage on your terms, because I would say not engage would be pure zoning the entire time, right? But it sounds like we mentioned before, like being like a battery to build up your resources to then engage when it's going to lead to a high reward with like a low forward drive rush confirm, and then control the pace when you're not in an advantageous position to minimize their chances of getting their momentum going. So yeah, I guess if you could snap your fingers and optimize to the highest level any character or playstyle, that might be the playstyle. Is that the meta? Is that like the peak of the mountain? It's very hard to get there. It's not like you're going to pick up Chun-Li overnight and be able to do that, because you have to really Chun-Li's a technical character. She's not easy to master. But I think that's why a lot of people say she's bad, because I think she's one of the harder characters to play in this game. But clearly there's some kind of reward there. Like maybe the juice is worth the squeeze if you go down the rabbit hole far enough. But I do want to touch on the other people in top 8. You mentioned Tachikawa, 5th place again with Manon, doing a lot of work recently. And then also tied for 5th, excuse me if I mispronounce the name, Satoru, out of Japan, of course, playing Rashid, 16 or 17 years old, apparently born in 2008. We have another young player on the come up, just maybe a year older than Blas out of Chile. Not an actual 09 or a 2008er here. But I guess in Japan it would be an 08er, right? In America we say 09, but in Japan, Street Fighter 4 came out in the arcades in 08. So he's an 08er in Japan, born when Street Fighter 4 was released, in top 8 in Japan with Rashid. So keep an eye out for that name. He might be the new young prodigy to look on out for. Kings Vega with his Blanca in 4th. He's been doing a lot of work recently too. He was traveling the world trying to take names here and there, and this is like his best placement, I feel like, in this level of competition. So he's been on the come up this year. Yanai also been really consistent in Japan in 3rd place, and then Dogura in 2nd, Goichi in 1st. So diverse top 8, interesting results. And aside from the takeaways from top 8, a big part of this, what I heard, is that in Japan, raw DI is the meta. That's the other thing people were using a lot of raw DI.
I'm glad I could inspire the Japanese player base and, you know, show them that raw DI is actually the way. From what I've seen over there, though, a lot of their best players are on the older side, so they're actually having trouble reacting to DI. I saw Mago even make a tweet about him having trouble reacting to DI. Maybe it's just an old man thing. I don't know. You just get out of it as soon as you pass like 35. But
You think that's really the meta? You think that's really what's going on?
Yeah, if you're over 35, are you really going to react to DI?
Like, once again, to me, I don't think it's their reaction slowing down. I just think younger players, once again, I think your brain it slows down the ability to adapt over time, and I think younger players are just molding their brain to cue into DI. So I think raw reaction times, I don't think that's the downside for the older players. I just think it's the situational awareness to be molded to look for DI in all these situations. That's my take on it. But a lot of the Japanese players have been looking for solutions to DI.
You don't think they're looking for DI, which is why they're getting hit by DI? You're thinking like they're kind of playing like a Street Fighter 4 or 5, like, oh, nothing's going to kill me from this far. Oh, shit, what's this new mechanic that came out of nowhere?
Yeah, I would argue, I could be wrong, but I would argue it's the manipulation of their mental stack. Like, they're not prioritizing DI in the right situations. Because what I recently underwent a change with this in my own playstyle where I was in a lot of situations where I was like, dude, I need to just stop looking for other things and look for DI, which is funny enough. I think I was doing that in the beginning of Street Fighter 6, and then I stopped doing it because I think there was a meta shift in the community where it's like, oh, people are getting kind of good at stopping DI. I shouldn't just throw the game away. And then now it's on the way back. So, and my experience was like, wait a minute, I need to go back to like literally just hovering over the DI button and just staring at the screen like, and folks, you can jump at me, you can dash up, throw me. I'm just gonna be staring there waiting for DI. Do anything you want, but I'm going to counter that damn DI in this moment. And then, of course, the moment I stop looking for it, immediately they DI, right? So I think that to me is not reactions, that's strategy. That's my view of that. It's like, yeah, if I was still in that mindset of looking for it, I would have reacted. And you were being facetious, but you're really good at using raw DI, and you did beat the crap out of Momochi and what was the other guy's name?
Moke.
Yes, at Combo Breaker with raw DIs, robbing them in the clutch moments. So there is a strategy element.
Manon actually has the best DI in the game, but also for me, it's you're not really thinking about it. Like it's kind of like pocket sand, like you throw pocket sand, nobody's expecting that. So it's kind of like you're not really thinking about it. You're like, okay, he could jump, he can dash at me, he could drive rush, like that's kind of the three things in the back of your mind. And then it's like, oh shit, what is this fourth mechanic? And then you get hit.
Very true. Well, to all the listeners at home, be careful of pocket sand out there. Make sure you don't get hit by that. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Extra Trashy. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Extra Trashy. If you're watching on the video feed right now, you will see the names scrolling by of all of our Patreon supporters. The show would not be possible without your support over at patreon.com/Brian_F. So thank you so much for helping to make this show a reality. I'd like to personally thank our landfill members right now, Chuckle Chuck, SBO, Hasferus, Kelly Lyles, and Smoking Seabass. Thank you for your continued support. Thanks again for everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.